A war is about to begin inside the Marshals team, and this time, the enemy is not just outside, it's inside their own choices, their own pain, and their own past. Everything we thought we understood about loyalty, justice, and revenge is about to be tested in the most dangerous way possible. Miles is no longer just following orders. He is about to step into a mission that could destroy his career, break his team, and change everything forever. And the biggest question is simple. How far can one man go when his heart refuses to accept limits? After the emotional storm of the previous events, the team is still trying to hold itself together, but the cracks are clearly visible now. Garrett's death has left a silence that no one knows how to fill. Calvin is quieter than before, carrying thoughts he refuses to share. Casey is trying to stay focused on duty, but inside he is carrying the weight of everything that has gone wrong around him. Andrea, on the other hand, is struggling in a different way. She is trying to stay strong in public while breaking apart in private. But the real shift begins when a new crisis emerges at the Broken Rock Reservation. A dangerous drug cartel has started spreading its network deeper into the area, targeting young people and turning fear into control. What starts as a standard investigation quickly turns into something far more personal when the Marshals realize this is not just about drugs anymore. It is about power, territory, and a brutal message being sent to anyone who tries to stand in their way. Miles, who has always been known for acting on instinct, starts to change in this episode. He is not just reacting like a marshal anymore, he is reacting like someone who has seen too much loss and is no longer willing to wait for slow justice. When he learns that one of his close friends has died from an overdose linked to the cartel supply chain, something inside him breaks quietly but completely. He does not show it loudly, but his silence becomes dangerous. The team is ordered to stay united and follow the official operation plan. Casey and Mo try to keep things under control, focusing on coordination and gathering intelligence before making any move. But Miles is already thinking differently. He starts to believe that waiting for permission only gives the criminals more time to destroy lives. Every report he reads, every case file he sees pushes him closer to a decision that he knows is risky, but feels necessary. At the same time, political pressure around the reservation situation is increasing. Higher authorities want results, but they also want control. The mining conflict in Broken Rock is still unresolved in the background, and now this new cartel threat is making everything more unstable. Casey finds himself stuck between responsibility and chaos, trying to protect both the law and the people who are suffering under it. What makes this situation even more intense is that Miles is no longer just talking about action. He is quietly preparing for it. Small signs begin to appear. He starts moving alone, asking questions outside official channels, and reaching out to sources the team has not approved. It is not open rebellion yet, but it is clearly the beginning of something irreversible. And just when the team starts to sense that something is off, Miles disappears from the expected path of the operation. No warning, no explanation, only silence. That silence becomes the warning. Because in this world, when a trained marshal stops following orders, it doesn't mean he is lost. It means he has already chosen his target. Miles's disappearance changes everything. At first, the team thinks he has simply gone off-grid for investigation purposes, something he has done before when he feels the system is too slow. But this time feels different. His communication devices go silent. His location cannot be tracked. Even his usual contact points come up empty. And slowly, a disturbing truth begins to form inside the team. Miles is not just missing, he has gone rogue. Casey is the first to feel the weight of this realization. He knows Miles is not careless. If Miles has disappeared without informing anyone, it means he has already committed to something serious, something personal. Casey tries to push for patience, but even he cannot ignore the signs. Every clue they gather about the cartel leads back to violence that is becoming more extreme, more targeted, and more brutal. And Miles's name keeps circling closer to that danger zone. Mo immediately pushes for containment. In his mind, Miles is still one of them, but a line has clearly been crossed. A marshal acting alone in a cartel investigation can create chaos that no one can control. Orders begin to shift from find Miles to stop Miles before he escalates the situation. But saying it out loud feels wrong to everyone because they all know why he might have done it. Andrea is affected in a different way. For her, this is not just about protocol or duty. She sees the emotional pattern behind Miles's actions. She recognizes the pain, the anger, and the quiet revenge building inside him. After everything the team has recently lost, Miles feels like he is carrying the emotional weight of all of them combined and turning it into action. The situation becomes even more dangerous when new intelligence confirms that the cartel is not just operating locally anymore. They are connected to a trafficking network that stretches beyond the reservation. This is not a small group that can be handled with a quick raid. This is an organized system built on fear, money, and silence. And that is exactly what pushes Miles further. While the team is trying to locate him, Miles is already deep inside the shadows of the investigation. He is following his own leads now, moving through places the official operation has not reached yet. His focus is sharp, but his method is unpredictable. He is no longer waiting for backup. He is choosing targets based on instinct and emotion, not strategy. A shocking detail begins to surface. Miles may be planning to go directly after a trafficker linked to the cartel's inner circle, not through arrest, not through coordination, but through direct confrontation. This is the point where concern turns into fear, because everyone in the team understands what this means. If Miles acts alone against someone that powerful, there may be no way back for him. Casey and Mo are now forced to make a difficult decision. Do they continue the search quietly and try to bring Miles back safely? Or do they escalate the situation and treat him as a threat to the operation? Neither option feels right, because both choices could destroy the team from the inside. And just when things cannot feel more unstable, a new lead comes in. Miles has been spotted near a known trafficking route, close to cartel-controlled territory. It is not a confirmed sighting, but it is enough to raise alarms across the entire operation. Because if that lead is true, then Miles is not running away anymore. He is heading straight into the heart of the enemy's strongest ground. By the time the team confirms Miles's possible location, the situation has already reached a point of no return. The Marshals realize they are no longer dealing with a controlled operation. This is now a race against time, and every second Miles stays out there alone increases the risk of something irreversible happening. Casey pushes the team to move faster, but even he knows speed alone will not solve this. The real problem is not just finding Miles, it is what Miles is planning to do when they find him. Inside the cartel's shadow network, tension is rising as well. Something has changed in their environment. Their routes are being disrupted. Their people are being watched. And slowly they start to sense that someone is hunting them instead of the other way around. That someone is Miles. Miles, driven by grief and anger, is now operating with a mindset that is dangerously focused. In his eyes, this is no longer just an investigation. It is justice that the system failed to deliver. And the more he uncovers about the traffickers, the more personal the mission becomes. Every victim he learns about strengthens his resolve, but also pushes him further away from the rules he once followed without question. The most dangerous part is not just his actions, but his mindset. Miles is no longer thinking about consequences. He is thinking about ending the cycle, no matter what it costs. That emotional shift makes him unpredictable. Even the cartel members he is tracking begin to realize that this is not an ordinary martial operation. This is something far more personal and far more dangerous. Back at command, Casey and Mo finally intercept a solid lead confirming Miles's movement toward a high-risk trafficking target. The target is not just any low-level criminal, it is someone connected to the core of the network, someone protected, someone who will not go down without a fight. And now Miles is moving directly toward that confrontation alone. Andrea is deeply shaken by this development. She understands Miles's pain more than anyone wants to admit. After everything the team has lost, the emotional line between justice and revenge is starting to blur for everyone. But with Miles, that line may have already been crossed. Andrea fears that if they do not reach him in time, he may not come back the same person, if he comes back at all. Casey makes the final call. The team will move immediately to intercept Miles before he reaches the target. But even as they mobilize, there is an unspoken fear growing inside everyone. What if they are already too late? Because at the same moment the team is closing in on his location, Miles is also closing in on his target. The distance between rescue and disaster is shrinking fast, and the closer he gets, the more irreversible his path becomes. In the final moments of the episode's tension buildup, everything converges. The cartel becomes aware of an unknown threat entering their territory. The Marshals close in from one side, and Miles steps into the center of it all, completely alone, completely focused, and completely committed to whatever comes next. And that is where the real danger begins, because when Miles finally faces his target, it is no longer just about stopping a criminal. It becomes a question of whether he can still stop himself. And just when everything feels like it has reached its breaking point, Marshals episode 12 leaves us standing at the edge of something even bigger. Miles is out there alone, Casey and the team are racing against time, and the cartel is slowly realizing that a storm has already entered their territory. Nothing is under control anymore, and every decision now carries consequences that cannot be taken back. What makes this episode so intense is not just the action, but the emotional collapse happening inside every character. Miles is not acting like a rogue agent for power or ego. He is acting from pain, from loss, and from a belief that justice has failed too many times. But the real question is, when justice turns personal, does it stay justice, or does it become something else entirely? Casey is now trapped in a position no leader wants to face. He has to protect the mission, protect his team, and also try to save a man who is actively walking into danger. The deeper he goes into this situation, the clearer it becomes that this is not just about bringing Miles back. It is about saving him from crossing a line that could define the rest of his life. And that is what makes episode 12 so powerful. It is not just about a mission, it is about a breaking point. Every character is being tested in different ways. Andrea is dealing with emotional loss and confusion. Mo is focused on control and order. Casey is stuck between duty and loyalty. And Miles is standing at the center of all of it, driven by something that no command structure can fully predict anymore. The cartel storyline only adds more pressure, because this is not a small criminal case. This is a system built on fear and silence, and Miles stepping into it alone turns the entire situation into something unpredictable. One wrong move can trigger consequences far beyond what anyone is prepared for. As we move closer to the final episodes of the season, everything now feels connected. Garrett's death, the emotional fractures in the team, the growing instability at Broken Rock, and now Miles' rogue mission, all of it is building towards something much larger. Episode 12 doesn't just continue the story, it escalates it. And the biggest question now is simple but terrifying. After everything that happens in this episode, will the team still be able to come back together the same way? Or has Miles already changed the future of the Marshals forever? One thing is clear. Nothing about the next episodes will be predictable anymore. Every alliance, every decision, and every mission is now standing on unstable ground. And as the story moves forward, the only certainty we have left is uncertainty itself. If you enjoyed this breakdown, stay connected for the next episode analysis, because whatever happens next in Marshals, it is going to change everything we think we know about loyalty, justice, and survival. Because in the end, this isn't just about one rogue mission or one dangerous cartel. It's about what happens when good people are pushed too far, too many times, without a way to release the pressure building inside them. Miles's decision might look reckless from the outside, but from his point of view, it feels necessary. And that is what makes it so dangerous. When a man believes he has nothing left to lose, he stops thinking about survival and starts thinking about impact. And that's exactly why episode 12 feels like a turning point. Not just for Miles, but for the entire Marshals team. What comes next will decide who they become after this storm settles.